Root Riders are far stronger than ever before, especially with a new level and siege machine. They can dominate bases with ease. So let's break down how you can use this army to 3-star any base, no matter your town hall level. Firstly, we need to focus on the equipment each hero needs, starting with the Dragon Duke, as he easily wants his Jetpack and Flame Blower equipment. Now I know many do not have the Flame Blower upgraded, as it used to be his worst equipment, but since the release of the Rocket Backpack, it's seen more use thanks to its damage working with the Jetpack, allowing for one quake to clear most buildings. Moving to the Archer Queen, having her Giant Arrow and action figure is very much what I recommend. The Giant Arrow just pairs extremely well with the Dragon Duke's Jetpack, making it a solid option no matter the base, while the action figure provides your queen with enough survivability, with a very high HP unit blocking the damage. However, if you lack the action figure, using the healer puppets instead is just as good for the survivability. However, you may instead want to use code CORRUPT to support me and the channel. With the Grand Warden, having his Eternal Tome and Rage Gem is ideal exactly for the survivability and buffing for both your damage units and healers. This overall gives a ton of value if you can keep the healers alive as you work around the base with the Root Riders. Lastly is a Royal Champion, as you want her to use the Rocket Spear and Electro Boots. Since you're using a short Royal Champion charge, you want the passive damage from the boots along with the Rocket Spear's Hero Boost DPS buff. Additionally, the Rocket Spears can be used later in the attack to clear defenses while your Root Riders are distracting defenses. With this attack, we want to first start with funneling. This mostly begins with the Royal Champion charge. This charge uses your Royal Champion and her Electro Boots to cut a small portion out of the base before being recalled back into your army. You can additionally use rocket balloons to funnel the Royal Champion into the base and keep her going in the right direction. This charge doesn't need to clear high value defenses, but focus more on creating pathing. So using your invisibility spells every 10 seconds will allow you to get the most value with your charge. You want to make sure to alternate invisibility with the spell and the Spirit Fox if you have it. In the off chance the Spirit Fox goes down or you do not have the Spirit Fox unlocked, use your invisibility spells every 4 seconds to keep her alive. Additionally, if you're near the CC, Inferno Artillery, Monolith, or Longshot Guardian, use your invisibility spells every 4 seconds, aka double cycling invisibility spells, as you do not want the CC lured or those defenses immediately attacking your Fox or Champion. Once you run out of invisibility spells, recall the Royal Champion back to be used with your Root Rider portion. But you may also want to subscribe, as not many people are subscribed, and it goes a long way to support me and the channel. Moving forward, we have the Jetpack Giant Arrow combo. This is mostly used to clear a bit more value and create any additional funneling. You can start this with the Dragon Duke or by using a few troops to funnel him in, as with the Flame Blower, you're able to one-shot most buildings with just one Earthquake spell. So lining up value like the CC or Monolith can enable you to get additional value before letting the Jetpack go through the rest of the base. Just be sure to use a Totem spell to help path the Dragon Duke into the base a little bit easier if there is an enemy hero nearby, like the Barbarian King. Additionally, having 2 more Earthquake spells enables you to get additional value with the Giant Arrow as the Duke's Jetpack moves through buildings. This can go for anything inside the core of the base, especially if you're seeing the Lava Launcher on bases. It also allows your queen to funnel a corner with herself and the Giant to allow better movement through the base with the Root Riders. This finally moves us to the Root Rider portion. With the Root Riders, you mainly want to have the Valkyries, Warden, Healers, Royal Champion, and the new Siege, the Skywagon, to move with your push. With enough of the outside funneled, you should be able to control the Root Riders and Valkyries as they work around the base. You can additionally have an Overgrowth spell that can be used to control pathing and or minimize damage while clearing other defenses around the base. Often this means you can use the Eternal Tome around the core or a bit later if you're dealing with the Town Hall Poison at Town Hall 15 and Town Hall 16. However, you also have support from the new Siege, the Skywagon. This offers a lot of protection for your healers while dropping your CC, which often includes Yetis for the Yeti Mites along with its HP and DPS. You can even use the Royal Champion's Rocket Spear to clear defenses from a distance while your Root Riders distract them. With a basic understanding of the army comp, here is the army comps I recommend you use. The link to each army comp will be in the description, but now let's give you a proper example of how you can use this to 3-star plenty of bases easily. Now, for this attack, we are going to be using the Royal Champion Charge first to cut off a bit of a funnel. We do not need to go for anything big. If we get a scatter shot, that's awesome. But we're going to be using the Royal Champion and are cycling our invisibility spells every 10 seconds in order to make sure that we're able to keep the Royal Champion invisible. Obviously, we can use rocket balloons to control where she goes, but otherwise we want to make sure that we are dealing with these defenses and creating good pathing. So in the off chance we get a high value defense, that's really nice. You can see that we're double cycling invisibilities here so we don't lure out the CC too heavily. This way we can then recall the Royal Champion back into our army. Now we're going to create additional funneling because we're going to use a few more rocket balloons to cut off the funnel for our Dragon Duke. This is where we can use a tome spell to lure the king over, and with the flame blower, we're going to be able to get a massive amount of value, including the defensive CC and everything in the core, with the giant arrow included. This is going to create great pathing for our Root Riders as they go around. We also have the queen setting up funneling for our Root Riders, so that way they can actually start moving into the base. With a few super barbarians, we're able to at least clear out some of the trash buildings so we can control our Valkyries and the Skywagon into the base. This is where then we can send in our Root Riders, our Valkyries, everything to support our Root Riders in. This is where we pretty much can also use the Overgrowth spell to control funneling, since we want to make sure that they are not going and splitting off in the wrong direction. As they continue to work around, we have balloons from the new Skywagon siege to just distract defenses and also make sure that no traps are hitting those healers. Meanwhile, we have things like the Yeti providing additional support while the Root Riders are working around. In this case, we're using the Eternal Tome around the core of the base as we continue to move around. We can use Super Barbarians on the outside to clear out trash buildings and control the pathing of all or most of our troops. And overall, with the Royal Champion's Rocket Spear a little bit earlier on, we're able to get plenty of value. Overall, as long as we're clearing defenses like the Ricochet Cannons, we more often than not should be able to 3-star even if all the Root Riders go down towards the end of the attack, as you should have more than enough power from your CC troops, maybe troops from your Skywagon, and overall should be a very solid 3-star option for plenty of players. If you're a fan of Root Riders, this is a must-try army, especially with how powerful it is. You can additionally use this without the need of the rocket backpack. So if you want that guide, check out this video right here, but YouTube says you might prefer this one instead.